client companies of Invest NI don't have a clue what faces them in the next 6 months, according to the downbeat assessment of the agency's outgoing boss. He says the decline is not going to turn around in a year or even 2 years' time, perhaps. So why is the Enterprise Minister taking the biggest ever trade mission to the Netherlands? I caught up with her before her departure and asked her if it was a good use of public money in the circumstances.
I think it's a very good use of public money because we're taking companies from all over Northern Ireland to look at the opportunities that Netherlands gives to us. It's our fourth most important European market, and there's a lot of interchange between the Netherlands and ourselves. We're both exporting nations, if you like, and therefore there are opportunities for them, there are opportunities for us, and we want to take advantage of them at this particular time.
Now, things are not looking good at the moment, and to quote the head of Invest NI, Leslie Morrison, things are looking, in fact, pretty bad. And one of the things they know is that, for instance, sales of Invest NI land have fallen through the floor, and they're normally bought by companies who want to invest, so they know that investment going forward is going to nothing. I mean, and Leslie Morrison has said many clients don't have a clue what the position is going to be in 6 months' time. So, I mean, things are pretty grim out there.
Well, I think that's shared right across the world. Global forecasting has never been an exact science, but it has become less and less of a science going forward. And what we're getting nearly every month are different forecasts of where we're going to be in the economy. What we're facing is an unprecedented change in our economy, and so we're trying to deal with that. Invest and I are still very much focused on working with the companies to find new export markets. That's why we're going to the Netherlands today. And it's important that we keep a forward face and not get downhearted about where we are in the economy, because I firmly believe that if we keep a forward face and if we are positive about the future, then when the upturn comes, we'll be ready and willing and able to deal with that upturn.
Well, what about the programme for government and the investment strategy? Surely it's time to completely revise those. For instance, in the Republic today, the government are trying to work out how they find 2 billion savings this year, 4 billion perhaps next year. They're talking about massive cuts in public sector pay. Is that not the kind of thing that we need to think about if we're going to do some of those other projects that the executive has talked about?
Well, you will know that we set the programme for government some 18 months ago now, and at that particular point in time, we were saying that a downturn was being predicted. We had no idea of the scale of the downturn. Nobody had any idea of the scale of the downturn. But what I announced some time ago was that I was setting up a review of Invest NI and indeed the policies within my own department to see if we were fit for purpose, if you like, to see if we were delivering on those programme for government targets. And I've also now extended the terms of reference to take into account how we're delivering on those programme for government targets. And that review team have now started to take evidence, have very recently called for evidence from everywhere that they can get that evidence, and I think it's right that they should take as wide an evidence base as possible, and then they'll report to me hopefully in the early summer.
Now, Peter Mandelson, the Business Secretary, is coming over this weekend. What's that about?
Well, it's his first visit as Business Secretary. I'm very thankful for him coming over because it gives us the opportunity to talk to him about some of his announcements that he's made recently, in particular about the Export Finance Guarantee, how that's going to work in Northern Ireland, what he sees for the future of Northern Ireland businesses, where he sees the opportunities. He is the Business Secretary and therefore, as I say, I'm looking forward to having a meeting with him and talking through some of those issues. OK, back to Old Turf, where he was Secretary of State before, of course. There's criticism from Sinn Féin of what they see as DETI interference in the location of the transatlantic cable that was announced recently that would improve broadband and so on to the northwest. They say that it should be coming into Ireland, if you like, at Derry, London Derry, but the DETI have intervened to move it to Portrush. No, we haven't moved it to Portrush. Let's be very clear about this. When we set out the contract for Project Kelvin, as it is known, which is basically getting a junction off the international connection highway into Northern Ireland and then going on over to Letterkenny and Monaghan, there were three mandatory places where it needed to come: Londonderry City, Letterkenny and Monaghan. And when we put it out to tender, we said that you could come in anywhere between Londonderry and Rathlin Island. And the company that won the contract decided that they would look at the seabed, see where best to come in onto the shoreline. They decided to come in at Portrush. That's a commercial decision for the company. Absolutely no interference from DETI or indeed myself. They decided to come in at Portrush and they're putting the telecentre at Coleraine. But what's different about this connection is that it's actually giving 10 more towns throughout Northern Ireland the opportunity to take benefit from Project Kelvin. So it's actually doing much more than we envisaged it would do, which is absolutely brilliant for Northern Ireland. And as well as that, we have 8 hubs where you can get that connection. So there's not just the one hub at Coleraine, which is the telecentre, but there are actually 8 hubs right across Northern Ireland, and as I say, into Letterkenny and into Monaghan, because this was a joint project between myself and the Southern Government.
Arlene Foster, many thanks.
Thank you.